Welcome to An Apple a Day, a podcast, a resource, a community. Share your experiences and learn from others as we overcome barriers and learn to live a happy, healthy life with a disability. Welcome to the community. Here's your host, Jimmy Apple.
Welcome to another episode of An Apple a Day. I'm your host, Jimmy Apple. How you feeling today, my friends? You feeling good? You feeling strong? You feeling better than you did yesterday? Excellent. You can't ask for better than that. Hey, I want to remind you, An Apple a Day is brought to you by www.famousapple.com. Famousapple.com is the home site for this podcast, so if you get a minute, check it out. Hey, as long as you're tripping around the web, stop by our group page, Living with a Disability. It's very easy to get to. Just go to famousapple.com/group. It'll bring you right to the page. It's a Facebook group page, and you'll meet some nice people over there. There's questions being asked, questions being answered. There's polls. There's conversations going on. People there from around the world. So you never know. You might meet some lifelong friends. You might meet some new friends that you would have never met anywhere else. So you get a minute, check them out. Hey, let me ask you something. How you making out with your medication? Are you taking it right? Are you getting it delivered to your house? How about your doctor's appointments? Those virtual doctor's appointments, very, very important. Especially if you live up here in the Northeast. I mean, this weather's ridiculous. For the last 4 days, all we've had is snow. I mean, I think we're up now to like 3 feet here. And it's not letting up. It's snowing again right now as I'm talking to you. And we're looking at snow for the weekend here. I know the local the local ski mountain is loving this. I'm not. I have to put chains on my wheelchair just to get out to get the mail. But I guess this is winter in New York. But the wind, the wind chill factor is like single digits. The other morning, they said it was 20 degrees out, but with the wind, it was 1 below zero. I don't know how the people further up north, up by Niagara Falls, I don't know how they make it. Because up there, their normal temperatures are like 3 below zero. And with the wind chill factor, I don't know what it is. It's like 10 below zero or 12 below zero. I just don't know how to do it. This is ridiculous. And to think, I left South Carolina to come back up here to New York. I don't know. Don't ask me why. They say happy wife, happy life. Yeah, my wife's happy, but I'm frozen. I'm like a popsicle. So, we have a good one for you today, a real good one. We're talking about mental health, and we have some warning signs for mentally and emotionally being exhausted. And people don't realize that they are mentally and emotionally exhausted. And that's very serious because with that being let go and not being diagnosed, that could lead to many things. And the worst of it can be suicide. So this is very important that you see it, if you see it in yourself, or even more important, if somebody around you sees it. And this isn't something that you can handle on your own. That's what I was saying a couple of weeks ago, that I searched the web and I was going into some of these groups that, they're trying to, I don't know if they're trying to be doctors or trying to help other people that have anxiety problems. You can't help someone unless they want to help themselves. And the only way that they can help themselves is to actually go to a doctor. It's nice to be supportive, but a person that has a problem has to first take the bull by the horns and go to a doctor. Let the doctor diagnose the problem. Support them after they get the help from the doctor that they need, then be supportive of them. But don't help someone to self-diagnose themselves. That's very dangerous. But we're going to talk about that today. And I think it's very, very important that we talk about it. Especially with the winter. The winter, people get get the winter blues. Especially once the snow's falling and they're stuck in the house. And then add to that the pandemic and the social distancing and, all the adult entertainment places are closed, or they have limited space and seating. And it's just, we're going through a rough time with this pandemic. And people who are disabled, they go through a rough time all the time. So this is just a good topic to bring up. And I thought it was something that is timely. It's something that we should discuss. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. We're going to start this section off with, first, I want to share with you the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. The phone number for that is 1-800-273-8255. Again, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That's 1-800-273-8255. That's a very important number to have. Whether it's for you or for someone you know, you should write that number down. Keep it somewhere safe. Again, that's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That's 1-800-273-8255. Keep it somewhere safe. You never know. Hopefully you'll never need it, but just in case you do, you have it on hand. With the weather, okay? The winter weather, cabin fever, people tend to get depressed. And add to that the pandemic. That's depressing all by itself. Add to that people who have a disability. They become disabled because of whatever, an accident at work, a disease, whatever. Add to that. That's depressing, okay? And people don't even realize it. They don't even realize it. And people around them don't know what's happening. They don't understand what's happening to their loved one. Well, I'm going to give you 9 warning signs that show that you're either mentally and or emotionally exhausted, or the people around you, your loved one, is mentally and emotionally exhausted. And when you see these things, or if you realize you see it in yourself, you can't fix this on your own, okay? It's time to see a doctor, or it's time for you to suggest that your loved one see a doctor, okay? The first one is you become easily irritated, okay? Someone leaves a glass out on a table, and it just sends you into orbit, or they don't put a pencil back or a pen back. Something minor just irritates you, like nothing else. You become easily irritated over the littlest things, something that never bothered you before. Or number 2, you feel completely unmotivated, even to do things that you normally enjoy. Like, say for instance, you like to sit down at the computer and read the daily newspapers, but you don't like to do that anymore. You don't feel like doing it anymore. You don't feel like watching your favorite TV programs anymore. You don't feel like doing anything. You just want to lay on the couch and pull the covers over your head. That's being unmotivated. You don't feel like going out for your daily walk. You don't feel like painting a picture like you usually do. You don't feel like writing a story like you usually do. You just don't want to do anything. You just want to pull the covers over your head. You don't want to get out of bed. That's being unmotivated. Number 3, you're experiencing anxiety and panic attacks over things that never bothered you before. You start thinking about things way ahead that aren't even close to you right now. Like, you're worrying about 5-10 months from now about paying the rent or paying the mortgage. You're starting to have panic attacks about things that aren't even possible right at the moment. That's something to start worrying about. You start having trouble sleeping. Either you can't fall asleep, or you do fall asleep, but you find yourself up every half hour, every 20 minutes, every 45 minutes. You're up and you're pacing and you're walking around and you just can't fall back to sleep. You're staring at the ceiling. that's something to worry about. You have almost no patience. You find yourself being short with your friends and your family over nothing. Over nothing. Like I said, when you were getting irritated, your family, your children, they leave a glass on the table, and all of a sudden, you're going to Mars. You're in orbit because they left a glass on the table. That's not the normal you. You're experiencing indigestion. Anything you eat is starting to give you indigestion. That's not good. That's not healthy. You find yourself starting to feel melancholy, even crying, for no reason, for absolutely positively no reason. Maybe you're seeing a sad commercial. Maybe you're just staring out the window and you start daydreaming about something that happened 20 years ago, and you just start crying for no reason. Maybe there's a party going on and you just, all of a sudden, you just start crying. You feel detached from reality. You go through your days without really emotionally responding or connecting with anything. It's like you're just like a zombie. You're just going through the steps. You're not there emotionally. You're just not there. You feel empty, like you're just a hollow body. These are things that are not normal, and you can't fix them on your own. You can't. As much as you say, I can fix it, I'll pull myself up. Or if people tell you, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, that doesn't work. That doesn't work, and it's not a sign of weakness. Believe me, it's not a sign of weakness to go to a doctor. I'm going to tell you honestly, I went through this myself years ago, and I had it in my head that I was much stronger than this, and I wasn't going to go to a doctor. There was no way. I'm not going to go to a doctor and tell him I'm crying for no reason. I'm a big guy. I'm not going to tell him that. But it was happening so much that it was taking over my life. I wouldn't even tell my wife, but she ended up catching me at this. She went behind my back and told the doctor. And I went to a doctor's appointment, and he had a way of talking to me about it. And he mentioned it to me. And I was like, no, I'm not like that. That's not me. And then he talked to me. And next thing I know, he recommended that I go see this other doctor that turned out to be a psychiatrist. And oh my God, was I pissed. And I was even more pissed when I went to the psychiatrist and I found out it was a woman. And then she started talking to me about crying and all this other stuff. Now, like I said, I'm talking about years ago. And mind you, I was a biker, and here I am talking to this woman. I'm in there with the tattoos and the this and the that. And the next thing I know, I'm crying like a baby. And one thing led to another, and I got some medication. And I tell you what, it worked. It worked. And you have to be able to admit that you need help. And you have to be able to accept, admitting it is one thing. Accepting the help is another. And you have to be willing to accept. Because I tell you what, if you don't accept the help, things can be 100 times worse. Believe me. And these little 9 or 10 things that I just listed out for you, this is just the tip of the iceberg. These are the most obvious ones. And if you see these in yourself, or if you see them in someone else, it's very important that you get them to go see a doctor. Don't go onto the internet, into some group chat room, and start telling this to strangers. And they're going to tell you, this is how you do it. This is how you take care of it. They don't know. They mean well. Don't get me wrong. They do mean well. But you need a professional to help you. You can go into the chat room afterwards and you can, share your experience. But first step for you and for anybody is to go see a professional. It's very important. Very, very important. Don't let anyone talk you out of seeing a professional. And don't let yourself talk you out of seeing a professional. You're playing with your life here. This pandemic, I don't know how long it's going to last. I'd like to say it can't last forever, but we don't know. As far as being disabled, it's been a long time for me. But you know what? Not that you get used to it, but you learn to deal with it. I know for someone that's just became disabled, I know you're thinking to yourself, I'll never get used to it. You don't get used to it. You learn how to deal with it. And if you're feeling like this now, deal with this now. Go see your doctor. Yeah, they're going to give you a prescription. You're not going to be on these drugs all your life, but they'll help you through that hump. They'll help you learn how to live with the problem that you have. Psychiatric medication isn't a lifelong thing. You'll do some talk therapy even. And you believe me, I wasn't a big believer in talk therapy, but talk therapy works. It really does work, and it helps. To be honest with you, I was on Prozac there for a while. I was against it because I thought Prozac, that means you're crazy, right? But I went to talk therapy. I went twice a week, and it works. It works. I'm off Prozac. It's not a lifelong medicine, but it helped me get through that hump. It helped me get around this roadblock that I was on, and it helped me get through that hard time. So I'm telling you, if you're dealing with it, deal with it straight on. Don't try to deal with it on your own, because dealing with it on your own, and I'm talking from experience, you're in a dark place. It only gets darker. Go to the doctor and deal with it with the doctor. Okay, it's a pain in the ass. I'm going to tell you that. It is a pain in the ass. And if you're anything like me, it takes swallowing some of your pride. But once you get into the swing of things, boy, you're going to be glad that you did. And it's not like I said, it's not a lifelong sentence. It's nothing like you see on TV. You're not walking around on Thorazine or anything like that. You go, you see the doctor, the psychiatrist. They in turn will turn, if it calls for it, they'll put you over to a therapist. You talk with the therapist, and before you know it, everything seems to lighten up. They know how to talk with you. They know how to work with you. And it's, like I said, it's not like what you see on TV. It's not One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest, believe me. But it does work out for you. And avoid these group chat rooms, and until you're done with it, until you find your way, until you're back into the light for yourself, and then maybe you can help someone else. But the best help anyone can get, the best help you can give anyone, is suggest that they go see a doctor. All this other self-help stuff and herbs and it's all nonsense. Go see a doctor. Let the doctor help you. Okay? But remember, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Keep that number. Whether it's for you or for someone else, just keep the number. Hopefully you never have to call that number. Or hopefully you never have to give it to anyone to call. But make sure you have it. Okay? Let's move on here. Well, I want to thank you for stopping by today, but before you go, I want to share something with you. Hey, listen, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Sunday, February 14th. You don't have to go to the store and socially distance behind people at the checkout counter. Go to famousapple.com/Valentine. Buy all your Valentine's Day gifts right there from a company that you know and trust. That's famousapple.com/Valentine. It's all there right there for you. Have a happy Valentine's Day, my friends. Next week on An Apple a Day, we'll be talking to Matthew Klickstein. He's the author of The Kids of Whitney Junior High Take Over the World. It's a nice book. You can check it out at famousapple.com/WJH. That's The Kids of Whitney Junior High Take Over the World. That's famousapple.com/WJH. You can check out the book. We'll be talking to Matthew on Friday. So you're not going to want to miss that. And remember this, my friends. No matter what, things can always be worse. That's right. Somewhere, someone right now is wishing they were in your position. So things can always be worse. You've been listening to An Apple a Day. My name is Jimmy Apple. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the cold. Stay warm. And I'll talk to you next time. Take care, my friends.
Thanks for listening to An Apple a Day with Jimmy Apple, your gateway to a happy, healthy life. Join our community at www.famousapple.com. See you next time.